buckle up. It's time to take the trip, buckle up.
You're listening to the Take the Trip podcast, where you'll find real talk and zero filter. I'm your host, Kendra Fogarty, and today I'm here with Don Rosellyn, aka the Nomadic Kids. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. You're one of our favorite families that we've met on the road, and that is what this podcast is just all about. The amazing souls out there living their travel dreams, whatever that looks like for them. So first, we just have to start with the legendary tale of how y'all have found your current home. I have no joke told this story to like 60 random people at this point. It's so fascinating. So can you tell us how you came to settle in Upper Peninsula of Michigan?
He tells it better, so I'm going to let you take this one.
All right. So we had never been to UP, and we were 4 years in. And several folks in the community had said, hey, you guys got to go check up the UP. And we're like, it's really out of the way. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's not on the way to anywhere. And we had crossed the country several times. We left one of the teen events down in Georgia. We had to go to everyone's favorite place in Goshen and Elkhart, Indiana, and get some stuff done to the rig. And we made the decision that then, you know what? We're going to go do the tourist gig up in northern Michigan and cut through the UP and do Duluth, and then head west like we typically did in the fall. And so we went to Traverse City. We did the whole Mackinac Island tourist thing. That's great for a tourist thing, but it's totally a tourist thing. And then we cut through the UP. Like literally went all the way through the UP. We ended up staying on a farm at the bottom of the Upper Peninsula. So we stayed on a farm there through Harvest Host. It was a really unique experience. And we headed to Duluth. Before we made this trek up here, we had just talked to the girls. Hey, how much longer do you want to do this? So it was 14. And they were like, we want to do it for 2 more years until I can work. That's what Zoe said. And we're like, okay, we can do it for 2 more years. So we have no intention of settling down at this point. And just enjoying our journey. Zella and I were out to eat in Hancock or Houghton, Michigan, which is in the Keweenaw. The girls were like searching houses. I think they were initially spurred because we found like a farmhouse in Lawrenceburg area that was not really finished built, and we just kind of went out there and just like looked at it, just kind of
Dreaming,
kicking around. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing serious.
Nothing.
And it ended up definitely not working out for all sorts of reasons. But I guess that spurred something in the girls for when we weren't home, for them to look for homes. Even though no one wanted to settle down, we're only weeks away from when we had said, we're not settling down. And they found this old house, 100-year-old house in Munising, Michigan.
We had never been to, never heard of, like passed right through when we came to the UP. It wasn't on our radar. I don't even think it came up in searches on when we were going to be doing the UP. I don't even think, believe it or not, it's beautiful, but it didn't come up on like, oh, this is a stop for
docs or anything.
Anyway.
Yeah, nothing. So we get back home, and at this time, if anyone was more open to settling down, it was Rosellyn, and Rosellyn only. So the girls couldn't wait to show her the house. And so they showed her the house.
They said, Mom, I found a house. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they were like, Mom, no, I really think you're going to love it. And I looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh, like I really do love it.
Yeah.
Like I love this. Anyway.
She showed it to me and I liked it, for what it was. It had a contract on it. Someone had already agreed to buy the house. And so, we just were like, okay, we contacted a realtor, whatever, stayed in touch just informally. We went to Duluth for a couple of weeks after that. And then eventually just made our way west. We were at the Gorge getting ready to watch Dave Matthews start, and they told us we got the house. However, there were lots of things that had to fall in place, like appraisals, stuff like this. We went back to Wenatchee. I started taking pictures of the truck, cleaned up the RV, trying to list everything for sale, because we go from living in an RV for the next 2 years to now we're buying a house in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan that we've been to one time in our entire lives and never been to the town that we're going to. So we got to figure out some stuff quick. Then we made our trek south down to Southport, bits and pieces down the way, like things happen with the appraisal. Well, for anybody who doesn't know that Southport is in the absolute middle of nowhere at about 8,000 feet elevation. I think a population there's in the 800s or something. Well, now we need to get a mortgage because everything's been settled. So we got to get a mortgage.
But we're not going to fly.
Yeah, we're not flying around. So we have to get a mortgage. So we get on the app with Super Convenience 2026 and we get a mortgage through Rocket Mortgage. But now they need a notary to notarize everything. So they're having trouble locating a notary. So they find a lady, 2-hour one-way drive over the Wolf Pass. She had to come
Yeah.
to notarize our paperwork, and she brought her elderly mother with her because her elderly mother liked going on road trips. And we signed the paperwork on a house that we had never seen in person, in a place that we had never been, in a town of 800 and some odd people in Southwest Colorado. Now we still have another predicament. We have a huge truck, a huge RV, and a little chaser car. I call it our little roller skate. Well, we know how much snow's coming up here just by reading, not by practice.
Which they may not, whoever's listening doesn't know how much snow we get.
This year we've had over 300 inches, but this is an anomaly.
300 inches.
So we we get on and start doing all this research, and we're like, all right, we need to find a truck to come pick up our car here in Southport. We have to find a way to get our car to Michigan because we're not going to be able to fight the weather and drive a truck, an RV, and a car from Colorado to Virginia and Virginia to Michigan in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So we find somebody, a tow company or a hauling company, transit company, freight company, I don't know, something like that. And we pay them $1,000 to take our car from Southport, Colorado to Michigan. Keep in mind, we know no one in this town. So I have to ask our realtor if he can open up our garage and put our car in the garage and close the garage. The garage
says yes.
door opener doesn't work. So he has to manually open the garage, put the car in there, and that's all settled. Then we leave Colorado like a few days after, hullabaloo's over in our rig, take our trek, fastest trek we ever made
2
across
weeks,
the country.
maybe a week and a half.
We spend our first night in Oklahoma City. We were in a Harvest Host in a brewery parking lot, and 3 tornadoes come into town.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
4 a.m. We get to Virginia, unpack our stuff, sell a lot of stuff in our storage unit. Now, we haven't sold the rig yet. We're in a debacle, right? Because you got a 43-foot fifth wheel, 3,500 dually ram, diesel truck, which diesel doesn't go too fantastic in super cold weather, right? And we have a moving truck that we have to get to Michigan. But we obviously don't want to bring the rig because it's buckets of snow. They're getting a huge winter storm when we're getting ready to come up here. So Rosellyn actually talked me into, I actually listened to her for, I think, the first time in 20 years. She said, hey, we just get rid of the truck. 2 hours before we left Virginia to make our move up here, we traded in our 3,500 for a little Jeep Gladiator truck and started our trek here. When we
Wild.
get here, it's the first big snow of the...
It's like Thanksgiving weekend.
Yep, Black Friday.
I think we pulled in. I had never driven in ice or snow, and we pulled in. I want to say, what did we get? 36 inches? We're driving in 36 inches of snow with the U-Haul and the Jeep, and I've got the girls, and I'm 10 and 2 in it, and I'm like...
And I'm in the moving truck with the dog.
Don's with the dog in the moving, but I'm like, girls, don't talk. Don't speak.
Yeah,
I gotta get her
that's
safely.
terrifying. Your first time driving in the snow, that's nuts.
Yeah, it was so, oh
We
man.
had some snow in Virginia.
No, but
nothing.
No,
Not like that.
I'm not talking about a sprinkle. I'm talking about,
Yeah.
it snows here, okay? I'm not talking about like a drizzle. It's snowing in this town, and I had never driven in it. The road was like ice because what happens here is like the snow, they can't get rid of it fast enough, so it just snow and ice is the road.
Wild.
And I haven't ever done that before. Anyway, the girls had to be quiet. They knew mom was absolutely stressed. But I just remember us pulling in and us walking in and it just feeling like there's this sign as soon as you come in and it just says welcome. And it might say welcome home, but it just felt good. It felt right.
Did.
Yeah.
No,
so you finally see the house and you walk in and it feels right.
Yeah.
You walk in,
just like what the internet showed us it was going to look like.
Yes. But we
So glad.
walked in and it just felt like beyond expectations. Actually, I just
Yeah.
remember going through all the doors and just being like, just so grateful. Just like, how in the world? And it all lined up. Yeah, it was, this is where we're supposed to be for now. So.
Yeah, there were so many ways that it could have not worked out.
Yeah.
And there were so many times where if we wanted to have said no, we could have easily said no and been done with a headache. Like, there were so many times where it's like, okay, this is just becoming too much. But like, it would just be one thing would happen after another. It was kind of in our favor.
That's crazy complicated. Like, yeah, I'm amazed that you guys could orchestrate all that, especially like that was fast. You had a lot.
It was fast.
Figured that
it
out
was really
very fast. Yeah. How cool though that you were open to it. You were willing to entertain this dream that your girls then had, even though that was not what you all thought the dream was then.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
want to circle back because Don, you said Rosellyn was kind of open, like she was maybe feeling a little more ready to end RV life. How were you feeling at that time then when the girls shared the house? Did that take any convincing, or were you just immediately like, we'll just go with this?
So we had kind of, as a family, had discussed places. Like we knew we didn't want to go back to Virginia. Like that was like the one place we knew we weren't going to go back to.
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of the West. Actually, I think our whole family was, but no one just really wanted to be that far from family. Haha, joke's on us.
We're
He
far
is
as
freaking far from family.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
convenient airport to us.
No.
Like, I mean, there is, but like without making a bunch of
True.
connections. Like,
Yeah.
joke's on us about saying, I mean, we could have lived in Phoenix and been a much
More
easier flight,
available,
right,
more available to family.
to
Yeah.
home. But anyways, at the time, it made sense. And there's so many things about up here that we really, really enjoyed that I think.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, it didn't take a whole lot of convincing. I've always loved old homes. I loved that it was walkable.
He loves snow.
I do love winter. I love snow.
That helps.
I'd much rather have those
You better
things.
love it.
I'd much rather have those things than spring. And the one season we don't get here is spring. We don't get spring, but we have an amazing summer and an amazing fall.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So much so that like when we moved here, everybody's like, "Have you been here for summer?" I'm like, no, we've only been here, for winter. And they're like, "Oh, wait till summer, wait till summer." And the hype was worth it. Like I'll give it to everybody up here that told us that. But what no one talked about was fall. No one ever talked about fall. Our favorite season on the East Coast in Virginia was fall. So we kind of felt like, are you going to be able to top that?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's phenomenal. I tell everybody when they ask about, hey, what do you think about the winter and the snow up there? By the time you get to December, you're actually a little bit ready for the snow. You're ready for a real winter. Now, March and April, like right now, when there's still feet of snow in our yard, we're done with the snow.
Yeah.
We're
Like,
done.
We want it to be gone. Like
We're done. I threw it like the biggest hissy fit last Wednesday at pickleball. I literally threw a fit. I said, I just need 3 days of sunshine. That's all I'm asking for. Luckily, it's starting to be more sunshine. It's starting to be, you see, I'm in a tank top, because 35 feels hot. I mean, literally, I'm sweating. I was just ready. It does get to be time where, new season. Let's have a new season.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be difficult. So I'm glad that the summers are just so worth it. And I think sometimes when the weather's like that, you appreciate it so much more too. I know that that's something I've noticed where like in Cleveland, I was always so appreciative of spring and summer because I knew, we always had winters not quite as brutal as the UP, right? But not fun. And now that we skip seasons, essentially, it's like I don't have that same gratitude and appreciation. So I'm always trying to like check myself. So I think there is something to kind of having to endure that, but definitely helps that you enjoy snow for sure. I would struggle because I'm not quite on that level. I love though that your daughters now have the coolest fun fact. Like one time I picked out this house and my parents bought it and we never even looked at it. Like that is just legendary.
This family rolls though. That's the way this family rolls because we didn't even go on the road. Don wanted to sell the house. I was like, okay, we're only going to move because it was the house I thought I would live in forever. In-ground pool, we had chickens, we had land, whatever. And Don just randomly comes up to me one day and is like, hey, I want to sell the house. And I'm like, wait, like everything, like you've put a wrench in. But then it was like, okay, well, I thought about it for a couple, I don't know, maybe days, maybe that day.
It wasn't long, yeah.
Okay. And I was like, okay, well, we're either going to have a homestead because Zoe used to ride horses and we already had the chickens and we're going to get acres and we're going to make everything from scratch. We're either going to do that or we're going to go on the road because we used to Airbnb and met a guy who would take his RV with a truck and travel around. And it was like unheard of for Don and I. It was like,
but he did it in South Africa.
He did it in South Africa. Regardless, like I hadn't heard of this. So I said, okay, well, that feels like a vibe. So either homestead or we'll do that. So obviously Don chose, but when we were doing it,
because I was looking for less work.
Yeah.
Homesteading equaled more work for me.
Yeah.
And at the time equaled less work.
But my
or
point
so you
is,
thought.
So we thought. No, it was magical. But so we didn't go on the road until our oldest. She said yes right away. But Eden, she was like, Mom, no, people don't do that. And I was like, okay. She's like, no one goes in a box and goes down the road. Okay. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And so I literally said, Don, RVing is off the table until the kids have their say. So they're just used to this is par for the course, them finding the house in the most remote city in the United States. Like they have a lot of say.
I admire that. That's amazing. So
Yeah.
how does it feel now that you've put some roots down? How's it going?
I think it ebbs and flows. Like I really do. I mean, you speak for yourself. But I think it ebbs and flows. There are moments like today, I was running at one point today and I ran to like this overpass and there's usually like a trickle of water that goes underneath. But today, because of all the snow melting and spring coming, it was like a rushing river. And it was like, wow, okay, that's magic. But then there's days where like, I don't know, community is a little bit harder to find. I just texted some friends the other day and it was like, man, I miss the moments where like you guys would just walk in the rig. Like no one's walking in and out. We were going to have friends the other day and I told Don, they're going to knock, And, but then I texted friends and I was like, you have no idea how much a gift it was that you just came in. Like you just knew you were always just welcome. Eat out of my fridge, sleep over if you want to. Like whatever you want to do. So that is like the richness of RV life that you don't necessarily get when you're sedentary, but also when you do have this new terrain, new climate, it feels like there's new stuff all the time, like cross country skiing we took up and ice climbing. And so that makes it like, okay, yay, there's still adventure, there's still newness, there's still things that we can go explore. We have a list a mile long still.
Yeah.
Because it's unexplored terrain that we haven't gotten. But we just would love to have our RV friends with us doing it.
So community has been the hardest piece about adjusting up here in a super, super, super small town in a super remote area with people that are so well rooted for generations, right?
No,
Like
yeah.
they're survivors, like they live and breathe this stuff. But they also like, man, people up here, they have a lot of pride, like UP pride. Like they love this area, which is
It's
admirable.
sweet.
It's super sweet. It's admirable. And there's some folks that really, really pour a lot into this community to make sure that it stays what it has been. Because let's be real, the UP, what's made it successful was logging, iron, stuff like that, and those jobs have left. So that makes it even harder, which later also makes community harder because people are leaving, not flocking to this area. Occasionally you'll meet somebody like myself that's a remote worker, but not often. What you do get a lot of is you get a lot of folks that come into the cafe where Rosellyn works and they're like, man, if I could figure out a way to make it on how to live up here, like I would love to do it. Like folks want to, it's just not super sustainable yet. And maybe it'll get there. But I think that
I like the wildness of it though.
we do consider ourselves lucky to be able to
Oh yeah.
I tell people all the time, we get to live somewhere where people save all year to vacation once or twice a year. Like we get to live there. It's like you're living on vacation during the summer.
And also I love how raw and real, like what you see, like it's so different than where we were from. What you see here is literally what you get.
You can't hide anything from anybody.
No, you can't. There's no pretenses and there's no rat race. And so I love that it's wild and there's forest everywhere. And there's one road that you can go down and there's like lake after lake after lake. And it's just like not built up, not industrialized. Like it's literally like you go forage for whatever you want to when you can forage. Like it's just what's the word I'm looking for?
It's like unspoiled.
Yeah, it's unspoiled. It's
I mean,
what a sweet word.
From the South. Like, yes, we've seen bear and deer, plenty of bear and deer, but wolves. I've never seen wolves anywhere. Just like
bald eagles.
Bald eagles everywhere.
Bald eagles are everywhere. Herons, the sandhill cranes that migrate. I could go on and on, but it's just wild. And that's my favorite.
It's so different.
Yeah, so different. But I love that you've made it a new adventure in its own. And you're looking for all these positives and all these different, things that fill your cup beyond just like, the cool things like your girls being in track or other school activities, like that type of stuff that you cannot do while traveling. So that's like such a richness too.
Yeah.
But then also all those other things about just the area. And I love how the town just seemed to suit you all so well. So we had the pleasure of visiting Don and Rosellyn in the summer. Of course it was the summer. And it was so fun. And it was just beautiful. But it was so funny. Like we walked through the town and we always we were cracking up about this. When we're walking through, everyone said hi to you guys by name. It was like out of a movie. There was like someone who like drove by and they're like, yo, Don and Rosellyn. And then just like everyone on the stands, it was like you guys knew everyone. It was just like that small town vibe and you could like feel that energy too of how you just knew everyone, and it was just, like, really very sweet.
Yeah.
So I will tell you, it doesn't take long to know everyone in a town of 1,800 people.
No, they're like, okay, what all can you do? So that and Don is in Rotary and he plays the trumpet in the band.
I play in the city band, and I'm the youngest by at least 50 years. It's a sweet thing, and I'm terrible. I had not played the trumpet in 26 years when they asked me to pick up a trumpet and play with them. Things like that are super fun. I sit on a float for the July 4th parade with people. It really is it's a cool little town. But yeah, it doesn't take long to know 1,800 people. But going back to the community thing, we spent the first 6 months of row life also unable to find community, right? So it's an adjustment no matter where. Us not finding community immediately isn't surprising. It's tough, but it was also tough the first like 6 to 8 months of finding community on the road. Like it got lonely out there too, right?
Yeah.
So like I think those challenges are going to come no matter. You're literally shaking up what you've
Yes.
defined as community for whatever period of time, like when we left Virginia. And it was time to shake that community up, right?
Yeah, it was.
And obviously it was time to shake up the community with RV life. We didn't know it was, but things wouldn't have aligned the way they did if it wasn't. So I know some question that folks that are still on the road will often ask me. They'll be like, "How did you know it was time to get off the road?" Or "What made you get off the road?" And I'm always like, "You'll know." Like you don't
spend energy.
don't put it because Rosellyn, she did spend a lot of energy in
I was done, yeah.
in trying to get off the road. And we had like our short list, which are nothing like the UP. Louisville, Kentucky, that was on our short list. Out west was on our short list.
Arizona, California.
Nashville, all those, anywhere basically, I think in the Pacific Northwest for the most part
100%,
was on our short list. But it's like those were all places that we saw to try to make work, and for one reason or another it didn't. And then the one place that we didn't try to make work that made us, just kind of literally falls into place. And I think when that happens, you'll know that either it's time or that's the next step, right? Like we have intentions of just her and I going back on the road.
Yeah.
Really
Every day, I'm like, okay, babe.
Yeah.
No, we much smaller. I would never, ever, ever haul a fifth wheel ever again.
No.
Never. But I would. My dream would be to like get a backpack and just have what I need for several months. But that's not feasible. But yeah, I mean, Dawn and I were like, okay, Eden is about to graduate 8th grade. So I mean, we're here at least until she graduates 12th. Because we made that promise, we wouldn't move them again. They have said on this side of it, because they've lost the majority of their road friends, not because of anything to do with the friends, but simply because the people that you see day in and day out, it's an organic shift and you still love them and you still care for them. And like we've got one kid coming out this summer, but you're not traveling 6 months along with them. Like, you're not this traveling neighborhood.
Proximity means something for kids, friendships.
It does.
It doesn't for adults.
No, it doesn't. My friends are, most of my good friends and the people I really care for are not here specifically.
We found some solid folks here too.
Yes, we have. But for children, I think kids are so good at being present and in the here and now, right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
They're present where they are and they're running 5 days a week with these kids or they're in every class.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that they were able to make those connections in the community. And even if a friendship when you're a child doesn't last forever, that's okay. That's still, that was still a beautiful friendship you had. It doesn't necessarily have to last forever. Like things change and there's beauty, in that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love how it has played out for you guys. You are absolutely in a Lifetime movie and we are so here for it.
Thank God you didn't say Hallmark, okay? If you would have said Hallmark, I would have. No, I'm just not a Hallmark person, but Lifetime, yes.
Yeah.
We can do Lifetime. I had this moment like a week or two ago, and I was like, I was crying to Dawn because I can get emo sometimes thinking about road life because it was magic for me. But I also was the one that wanted to be done. It started costing a lot. And I won't go into so much here on that, but it started costing more than I think it was giving. Like it just got isolation. Sometimes like when we didn't have friends around, it just gets harder. And you don't have very far to go. You're just in a 320 square foot. And if there's tension, like you just feel it. And I can feel tension I can make up tension if I don't feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, but I was telling him like a week or two ago, reminiscing about road life, but also everything else that I've done in my life. And it's just like, wow, what a gift it all has been. The things that I've seen, I just can't put into words how I feel about all that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
Yeah.
Tetons and Angel's Landing and Moab. It's just like
What's nice is
unmatched.
on this side of it, when we immediately found the house, we were like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. And like weeks later, I didn't wake up and have to worry about dumping tanks or where we were going next week or like,
Yeah.
so that short term, oh my gosh, you feel like all you can remember are the negative things about RV life, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
short term, like when you first settle down. You're just like, oh my God, I'm so glad I don't have to do this. So glad I don't have to do that. The further you separate yourself from your time in RV life, all you start to remember are the good things, which is incredible. Right now, when I think about RV life, I hardly think about anything negative about it.
Oh,
Now, when I
either.
first settled down at that point, once it became real that we were settling down, I was so glad to be settling down that anytime I associated with RV was like, oh geez, I don't have to worry about something breaking, where I'm driving, spending my whole weekend finding the next place that I'm going to, right? Like
Yeah.
it felt so relaxing.
Can see that because it's unpredictable and you have all these different things that go
Yeah.
wrong. The mental load is like
The
really
mental load.
The mental
Yeah.
load. So much of it was the mental load. We're 18 months out of it now. The mental load's gone. And that's actually a beautiful thing, like, because I don't think about any of the negatives with RV life. It created some stellar freaking memories that we are just like, man, we're lucky. But also, when we walk down to the docks in a town that is, you kind of sometimes feel like it's all but forgotten, but you go to the lake and you see it, and then you go to the beaches and see the water, the color of the water and everything. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
we're super, super lucky to be able to live somewhere that most people will never see this area ever.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. Yeah.
And it's like we get to live here and experience and like be immersed in it. Understand, like, this is kind of funny. They told us the big snow when we moved up here. They're like, yeah, this was a big one. This is more snow than we got all year last year. And we're like, oh wow, okay, so this is abnormal. So everyone told us, yeah, last winter that was a good one for your first one because that was a big one.
Yeah. And if you made it through,
If you made
okay.
it, if you made it through that one,
You're good.
you might earn not your whole Uber credentials, but you might have like a half a wing or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that.
might.
Well, in true kid fashion, as with goes with everything else, this winter blew last winter off, especially 3 weeks ago, and it made the news. So like this isn't a surprise to anybody. It was a record-setting blizzard for the history books, and I think that we got in this
52?
area in between 48 and 52 inches in 36
36
hours.
hours. I cannot begin to tell you. Okay.
God.
Now, part of me, like, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, if I didn't live here, I would have been like, my gosh, holy crap. And ew. I was on the porch, which is 8 steps up, and I'm throwing snow on top of a bank. Okay. Once it stopped and we dug ourselves out of the door and everything, the plow guy, he had come by and like helped us move some of the snow a little bit. There really was a double-decker sled hill outside our front door. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. So the kids got all suited up and they are literally riding down this double-decker sled hill and then going into the road, going onto the bank that was across the street.
Oh my gosh.
I don't love that type of thing in my head and fantasy. I don't like that. But then when I looked out and I was like, what? I mean, it's just wow is all it is. And
Yeah.
you have to embrace it. So that's what I was going to say earlier is like the weather here or like all the things about here. It's all such a metaphor. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, it's throwing you 52 inches of snow. And are you going to resent it or is this the season that you're in?
Love
And
that.
so it's like,
Yes.
okay, well, this is the season. So like I sometimes, again, I did have my hissy fit, but also like embrace what is like
Yeah.
present practice. This is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And so like, how can you have fun with it? And we
Yeah.
did, we got out there. I went sledding.
Last winter, Rotary, I met a local gentleman. He took me ice fishing. Growing up in Virginia, definitely grew up with outdoorsmen in my family. I never really was drawn to stream fishing because it required a lot of patience for small fish that I never really was going to eat anyways. So I was not interested in it. I blew it off. And I was not a hunter. Just wasn't something that interested me. I didn't like waking up early to sit beside a tree and fall asleep in the woods. But I went ice fishing with this man, just one of the nicest people I've ever met. He takes me out there, and we catch like 5 coho salmon within about 3 hours. So by the time we pulled them out of the water, filleted them, and cooked them was less than 5 hours after I pulled them out of the water. So we're eating like fresh salmon straight out of the lake here. So it's things like that where, man, you really closest McDonald's 45 miles away, closest Walmart and Target's 45, 50
Yeah,
miles.
so do you really need it? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another thing that's so cool up here that I thought was like, Jamestown-esque, meaning
Settlers.
Okay.
They didn't
Is
settle up here.
No, wait, that's not my point. What
They were
I
like,
thought
hell
was
no.
from
Yeah.
that time period, hell no, no one settled here. Somebody got dropped here and they were like, damn it. But anyway, what I was going to say is bartering or like trading is such a thing here. Like this lady doesn't have any way of ordering. I wear these like boho pants or whatever. She wanted a pair for yoga because we do yoga together. She didn't have a way. So I'm like, well, let me order it through Amazon. She is like this 65-year-old, lives on 50 acres. She taps her own maple syrup. So she came and I said, I do not pay me. I won't allow it. So I gave her the bohemian pants. She comes into work like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days later. She knows where to find me. I'm always there. But anyway, she gives me maple syrup that she tapped and made herself, and this like clover honey, like a huge jar of it to say thank you. And like this lady that's right next door to us, she's like, come pick our raspberries. And I've got some guy that delivered rhubarb to me at work so I could make a rhubarb margarita. I call it a rhubargarita, patent that. But anyway, so like, it's the craziest thing. You think it's lost. Or I thought it was lost. I thought it was old school. And it's like, no, this is like how they show their thanks. And this is how they express gratitude and kindness. And it is unreal. That is like,
it's another aspect of community because again, like just because it was hard for us to break into community up here, but man, like it's not because they don't have it. And it's not because they don't have a lot of it right. They have a lot of it right. Like for that instance, there's other folks in town that literally quietly behind the scenes make sure that the people of Munising are taken care of. It is community that happens behind the scenes or that happens just because of how rooted people are. So it's not that there's not community for us. It's just it's hard to break into a community that is freaking established.
Yeah. I think there is just so beautiful because I think a lot of people are interested in communities that are more like that, where it's like, we're sick of the kind of like AI technology stuff being like jammed in our throats, like the lack of human connection and lack of just like human interactions and like support for each other, where a lot of people are really yearning for exactly what you're describing. So for anyone who's also seeking that, now you know Munising, if you like snow.
Come be our neighbor.
Yes. Okay, so there's so many things I want to circle back on, honestly. So I'm going to have to prioritize what I want to ask you guys. But first, let's play a little game. Live, visit, exile. Okay. So I'm going to give you 3 locations. I know that y'all, are still traveling, even though you have a home base now, you're still travelers at heart. Like that's still very much part of who you are. So
gosh.
yes.
Literally on the way back from Dominican, I'm planning. So Zoe for her 16th, she wants to go to New York City. We've been a million times. It's fine. But that's where she wants to go. So we're on the plane and Dawn and I and the girls were chit-chatting about, okay, what are we doing in New York? What's the next thing?
Yes.
We can't extinguish that fire.
Here's a little known fact that only one other, maybe 2 other RV families know about this because they were part of our community back then when this was going on. We settled in one of the coldest environments we could have settled in the continental U.S. 3 years ago, I was this close to taking a job in Bermuda, and we were going to move to Bermuda.
Yeah. So we just like to keep it, just keep it wide open. You never know. Anyway,
I love that you stay open and you're like, we'll do a different thing here. We'll try that. We'll try this later.
Yeah.
Why does it have to? Why do we have to know everything? And that is my biggest thing. People are like, do you know what you're getting into? Do you know where you're going? Do you know anything about it? No, and isn't that like the spontaneity and beauty and adventure of it? I don't want to know. If I know, then like that ruins the fun. Keep me guessing, please, always.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was great. All right. So I'm going to give you 3 locations.
Okay.
All right.
One you have to live at least for a time. Another you can visit, right? But the final location you have to exile, never to return again. Okay. So
Do we have to agree?
No, you
Okay,
definitely,
God,
I
dude.
won't put
What's the
that
same about
pressure
our
on
marriage?
you.
We're okay.
All right.
Whatever happens, like, it's okay. You'll find somebody
Yeah.
else. No, I don't know.
So the first group is Washington State, Colorado, and Arizona. So you're going to live one of those, you're going to visit one, but the final one, you're never going there again. What would you choose?
This is where our marriage parts ways. I'm going to answer because I know
All right,
mine.
you go ahead.
You
Okay.
can still think. Don thinks on things.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't ever need to go back to Washington.
Okay.
Colorado, I can visit. And
You're going to live in Arizona.
I'm living in Arizona.
Okay.
And I know exactly where.
Was it Phoenix?
I'm living in
Is that what
Sedona.
you? Sedona, no.
It's
it would be
just
so good.
beautiful and the red rock and like it's spiritual and
Yes.
just it's sunny.
I feel that. However, then you go from one extreme to the other, and then
Absolutely.
you're in
Yes,
summer,
and-
and all
and
of a
that-
sudden you're like,
And that's okay for me because I feel like I am paying all my sunny dues right now. I'm not even kidding you. I am paying all my dues right now so that when I am 55 years old, it is glorious. I'm barefoot and I'm literally what is it if you get a lot of sun and you shouldn't have?
Skin cancer?
I'll have skin. Okay, your turn.
Okay. Colorado is like, that's where I'm like, if that's my final place, that's good. I'm good going to Colorado.
It is magic.
I think I love Arizona. You picked 3 really, really tough
Yeah.
states for us.
Yeah, for us. They were on our. They all were on our list.
I think that the Colorado I'm living in.
We can visit.
The
each
next
other.
2 are really close, and it's really hard for me. I think I'm gonna visit Washington.
My God, babe,
It's
it's
hard.
just
Washington's climate can be too similar to Colorado's, so I am gonna visit Arizona and I'll exile Washington. Unfortunately,
It's
I
okay
love
to
Washington.
turn your back.
Here's the thing about Washington: you only have like 3 months there. Like really, right? Like it's super rainy there.
yeah. No,
People
that's
might talk
fair.
about the snow
Yeah.
here, but that's only like 5 or 6 months, right? Like, you got like 3 months of good weather in Washington. So I think that's why I would exile there.
Do you see why he needs me? He thinks, and I'm like, let's just go.
Can compliment each other. Okay, so the next one, actually concerts. So it's Grateful Dead, Dave Matthews Band, and Fish. One of them you're going to just live at the concert, so that will be an interesting life. And then the other one you can visit, but one of those you are never going to listen to the music again.
Answer mine easy.
Okay, what do
I'm exiling all of them because I've been so immersed in Don's music for forever, and it's literally 20 years of it. So it's more than 20. He's been listening to his music since he and I would ride around when I was like 16, 17 years old. Okay. So we're talking, how many years is that?
So I've been listening to Dave Matthews since 1994.
Okay. So, and I've been around for that long. So
I love it.
32 years I've been listening to, I'm exiling all of them and I'm giving him new albums and they're all mine to listen to. Okay. Your turn.
So this is actually, I know you picked those on purpose for me, and that's fine.
That was fun.
I like it. It's easy for me on this side of it to exile Dave Matthews only because I have seen him
20 times.
I was going to say 30 or 40 times. So I've seen him so many. I actually don't ever need to see him again. And I love him.
This is who, Dave?
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
But we are going to see him at Bourbon and Beyond. So
yeah, I mean, we're going in
I will
September.
be seeing him. So this is a practice, not realist. So I would say him. Fish, I would occasionally go. And my girls and Rosella would both tell you I would be plenty of happy and content if you were to put a tent up or an RV for me at a Grateful
Dead or Dead and Company, yeah.
or Dead and Company. I would
For the rest of his life, he's happy.
would be
Todd lives there.
100% good.
Yes. Yeah, that's so him.
Okay. I think someday after you do your different versions where you maybe travel again, or maybe you're going to Bermuda, then maybe you're going to Colorado or Arizona. I think eventually the end goal is probably going to be Don in some trailer just as a, Dead and Co groupie. I think that's probably going to be the end.
Yeah, I can. Yes, that's him.
Or maybe
Yeah, and I'll
somewhere
be
in
in
the middle.
Arizona.
Yeah.
If you had asked Rosella and the girls, like they could easily answer that question. They may have mixed Fish and Dave up, but I think they know that I probably would have camped outside.
Great. I knew Dead and Company for sure. Or Grateful Dead. I knew it. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. All right. Well, thank you guys. Okay. So I have some more questions that I do just want to follow up on. The first thing I do want to touch on really quick, because I don't want the interview to be complete without mentioning this, because it was something I just found incredible when we were visiting your town, was how you had transformed that bookstore. Again, total Lifetime movie thing. It was clear that you were just putting your whole heart and soul into it, and you've turned it into
Thanks.
this beautiful thing, and just being able to see the changes that you made, and the getting then, my girls and I, we had the chance, we got to brainstorm books for you to add, and
Yeah.
for children's books. So fun. And it's just really incredible, that transformation, that impact that you have on that business. So then I was just curious, did you know when you were going to move there? Like, were you planning that you'd work at a bookshop, or did you kind of how did it play out?
Not in Rosellyn fashion. I knew I was going to work because I knew that we were going to try schooling for the girls. The girls had been unschooled, road schooled, no school for as long as we were on the road. And then before that, they were homeschooled from second grade until Zoe was in fifth or sixth. We pulled them out of public school when Zoe was like 7. So I knew they were going to go to school. So before we moved, I knew I wanted to work at one or two places here. It's not many options. But so I was like, okay, I want to work with books, because books is literally it is my passion. I am not a closet nerd. I am a self-professed nerd, and I love it. So I was like,
And you're
okay,
an author. We have to throw that in there too.
yes,
You're a
yeah,
published
and
author
an
of
author.
beautiful poetry. Yes. So
Thank
this
you.
all just makes so much sense. And I love how
It
it
made
came
sense.
together. But sorry, continue. I just had to throw that
No,
in there because I didn't know if
thank
you were
you.
going to be. I had to brag for you.
Thank you. That's actually why we got on the phone. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So I emailed the public library that's in the school. School shares the public library. So it's the school library and public. So I emailed them, and then I Facebook messaged Falling Rock.
The way you heard about Fallen Rock's kind of cool.
The way I heard about Falling Rock is from another full-time traveler. And she was like, wow, you're moving to Munising? I went to this really cute bookstore. And I was like, fun. Okay, cool. And so I Facebooked them, and I was like, so I'm moving there in December. And would you think about hiring me? And Denise, she's a friend of mine. She was like, yeah, just shoot me a message or give me a call when you get closer. And basically you're hired, but let's just do an impromptu when you get here. We had chit chatted on the phone. I actually remember me standing in my bedroom chit chatting with her in the bedroom of the RV. Anyway, so got here, and then we settled, we unpacked. I think we had Christmas, and then I went the following Monday, and I just was like, so I've arrived. And then they were like, okay. And so I remember sitting down, and I'm like, okay, are they going to be able to handle me and who I am? Just this what's the word? Untailored person. But I remember sitting down at the impromptu informal interview. This is what I said. The first thing I do is put a little love in the books, because right now it's hurting my brain looking at, because they're just everywhere. And then they were like, I really like your energy. And I was like, okay, yay. They're not bothered by me making a suggestion. So then that winter, I touched every single book and organized or got rid or set them aside so that we could do this big used book sale. But I touched every single one and knocked down a wall of books so that we could have more eating space, and it could be a little bit separate. Anyway, so it's been fun. It's been a fun project. Don is like, babe, he'll make comments, and I'm just because I'm just a lowly old barista making whatever I make per hour, which is less than my kid. But so he's like, babe, and I'm like, something about it. I love seeing the people every week. I love the little camaraderie. I love hearing the ladies with the book club laugh. I love chit-chatting over my elderly neighbor's coffee and his little breakfast. I love feeding the little pups that I see walking by, and I grab the whipped cream, and I'm like, surely your dog wants a pup cup. Anyway, it's just been so fun. I love it so much.
Well, it's clear that you were totally in your element when we got to see you there too, and just your passion for the bookstore
Thanks.
was just
And thanks for
really
noticing
sweet.
that. That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was so sweet. Okay, so now I also want to know, for anyone who is visiting the UP, do you have 3 maybe must-do recommendations that someone really cannot miss when they're up in there?
Well, the pictured rocks Lakeshore, that's a super general mention, right?
Mhm.
But you can see it so many ways, right? Like you can rent a pontoon and get to it that way. You can do a hike and get to some of the more remote
Can
places.
backpack.
Like you could backpack, you could take a shuttle over to the island, to Grand Island, and then you can camp there and hike around the island. I think it's 26 miles. I think that you can hike the circumference of the island. I think that,
They have to see pictured rocks. They have
but
to see
Pictured
it.
Rocks is, you have to see it in some way. You saw it from a distance on the glass bottom boat tour, right?
And then we went on like the hike or whatever there, which was
Yeah.
the
Yep.
viewpoint there, which was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that you got, if you're going to Munising, you got to do Pictured Rocks Lake Shore, but there's so many other.
So pictured rocks, I would say like you have to literally do Chapel Rock, and you have to get a pontoon boat or rent or kayak the water. You've got to see it from land and water, I
Mhm.
think. That's personal opinion. It is magic. We had tons of friends come last year. We got 2 pontoon boats, and we had done the hikes and stuff with other family that had come. Then we saw it from water, and it was like, it's breathtaking. And there's an arch, and you can go through it with the kayak,
You see,
or you can
yes,
jump off the pontoon boat and like dock.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
think that would be fun. Yeah.
you guys saw the lighthouse, right? Like,
Yes. That
I think
lighthouse
get
was
on the
cool.
water in Munising. That probably, if you were only able to spend one day in Munising, get on the water and go see the lighthouse, the shipwreck, and if you can make a way to go to see Pictured Rocks from the water, those would be the things for Munising specifically. Now, there's a ton of hidden gems around here that some that we haven't even been to or seen. I also think Black Rocks and Marquette.
yes, I was going to say that.
That's probably, if you have kids,
There's
jumping
these
off the Black Rocks there. So.
huge Black Rocks Presque Isle. Black
Mm.
Rocks is in Presque Isle. Okay. So if you just go to Presque Isle and you park, you can literally either jump off the Black Rocks, you can have lunch or a picnic at Sunset Point. You could hike Sugarloaf, which isn't so far away, maybe 20 minutes. And Sugarloaf, once you get to the top of that, you see for miles of the water and the coastline. So yeah, I would say Presque and
Yeah,
Black
and then
Rocks
the
is
other
the
thing
magic.
is a little bit further of a drive, but I think it's probably worth mentioning if you're UP specific. Now, you have to give this caveat. Yeah, I know a lot of folks like Mackinac, and Mackinac is great, and it's amazing to see as a tourist place
In this
spring or in the fall. In the summer, it smells like horse piss, but that's not UP. That's not the Upper Peninsula. So I'm leaving that out on purpose because it's not the UP.
but it is magic.
Yeah, it's totally magical. The Keweenaw Peninsula goes up and juts out, and Copper Harbor is the point up there. I think if I was in the UP, I would want to make sure, even if I skipped some of the touristy spots in central UP, even here in Munising, I would want to make sure I went up to Copper Harbor to the end of the Keweenaw Peninsula, because you're literally, I don't know.
It feels like you're at the end of the
world.
earth.
Yeah,
It is
It's incredible.
unreal. There's nobody. There's one road in and one road out. It's just the tip is wild.
The rocks that
Camping
you
is
see.
insane. Rocks. I made a rainbow out of all the different color rocks that I found that are just like authentically there.
Those were great tips. Thank you for sharing. I didn't think I'd feel like I needed to return back-to-back years, but now I'm like, oh, do I need to return again?
Hey, fun fact. There's another full-time family that settled down in the UP that
They're near
they
there.
settled down near the Keweenaw Peninsula towards the bottom of it, I believe. So there's another family out there that obviously saw the magic of that place too.
That's kind of wild. Yeah, that's cool. So I do want to circle back to some RV travel stuff. Now, so one thing of RV life, like I just have to mention too, is that you were both just some of the most welcoming people that we met. You touched on
my
how
gosh.
community can be very challenging. It's really overwhelming. You were at the first rallies that we went to, and I was like freaking out. Like I just don't do well in groups. Very challenging for me. And you guys were just so fun, and you really made a difference for both Bill and I, who's super introverted, right? Our experience. So we just appreciate that. So it was also, I guess, I don't know the right word, like reassuring or something to hear that you also had struggles with community, because at a certain point when you're RVing too, you're like, oh, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have any friends? So just to know that you guys had that struggle too when you are super outgoing, it's just reassuring, I guess. It's just a hard part of the travel life. So I know you mentioned that that was kind of a difficulty. Was there anything else that you felt was just like, we kind of talked about the black tanks and stuff, but there was anything else that really was hard to overcome? Like, obviously, you kind of solved the community thing, although there are periods of time where you just don't happen to have schedules aligned with others.
Yeah.
But
Right.
was there anything else that was just like a huge part to you guys where you're like, we're really over it due to like this? Just curious.
So done. And look, I just, I got so done saying goodbye. I was so over it.
Mm-hmm.
That was so hard. You're together, you're traveling, and like you said, like then your schedules wouldn't align, or like we had to go back to Virginia because it was always important to me to go back home, make sure that I see my family and stuff. And his family's there too. But anyway, say like it's like breaking your heart over and over. You're like, you're rooted, you're hanging, you're vibing, you're together, you're like sharing meals, you're making margs, you're telling people, okay, like, come over, I've got the pork and like bring whatever. And then like our friend Megan, she'd be like, I've got the margs or whatever. And, or the Labadis had like the space. The Dina Colas had the chai tea. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it just got so hard saying goodbye. It started breaking my heart more because you're developing and you're getting closer,
Yeah.
but you're still saying goodbye
That makes
over
so much
and
sense.
over.
And you were saying goodbye in an unknown way. Like there wasn't a lot of the time there wasn't a plan. Hey, we'll see you again when.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, I'm sure we'll see each other, and like, and that's it's the blessing and the curse about
Yeah.
RV life, right? Like you may meet a family in Florida and not see them again until you're in Arizona, and then not see them again until you're. And those times together are incredible. Those times between, sometimes, not all the time, sometimes you're like putting the energy into getting to the next time that you see those people, or just wishing you were with people, period. Anybody, right? Like you're just wishing you were with people and just as if any community or sub communities within a community, you find your people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you find your people in RV life, you don't, you kind of find your people. Not that you don't want to find new people, but it's like,
Oh yeah, because you're always. I mean, there's always.
it doesn't
It's like the game of Blom. We can always add on.
But yeah, to Roselyn's point, like, man, like you rarely, when there were people around you, you didn't eat a single meal alone ever.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
You're
God
always
no.
just like,
And they're like on a whim. Let's go backpacking this weekend. Okay. Yeah.
we would hang out in the clam, like hang out in clams every night. There was like, we called it our clam sessions. We just go hang out in the clams, right? Have drinks, whatever, just talk, laugh, poke fun, And sometimes we're in somebody's clam that's falling apart. You never so
And like you get 12 or 15 jokers up in there. Like no lie.
yeah.
And I think the sweetness and the like, how special and how rich those relationships are because they're they're so close so fast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to be, It's like speed dating,
Yeah.
RV style or RV edition. But because of that, you're like unloading. They're seeing you with your hair in a towel holding dog poop, that pervert, that whole picture that's kind of cliche, but it's legit. Like they're seeing you at your worst
Yes.
and choosing to come over with a marg anyway, and then you have to say goodbye, and you don't know that you're going to see them again.
Yeah, that was a big thing, but I was always confident that we weren't going to stop RVing, so I knew we were always going to see these people. Eventually, when some of our other friends also got off the road, it became more of a reality. I think a big thing for me, which sounds super bougie, but finding campgrounds that were our quote unquote our vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Like at first you'll stay anywhere because you're just looking to go somewhere and
And
get a new
Thousand Trails is where
experience.
you meet
And
people.
Thousand Trails is how you meet families and stuff like that. But as time went on, I either wanted a campground that was done well, that was clean, that was done well, but that was in a remote place. And I didn't care if they had jump pads and playgrounds and this thing.
Gosh,
and that
actually, can
thing,
they not?
and that they didn't cram like I wanted to be in state parks, or honestly, we wanted to be boondocking in Moab under the stars, and I could sit there for weeks.
Yeah.
I started not liking living in a trailer park or a campground constantly.
Yeah.
That piece got old to me.
Yeah.
Although there's some amazing campgrounds out there.
No, I totally agree. The campground and the site specifically too makes such a difference. And there's like the places you go, honestly, where I feel like, listen, I am done being near meth labs. Like, I do not want to
Yeah.
park by this shit anymore. Like, I'm so done with it. So
Yes.
it's like that where like you want to feel comfortable with where you are, and just some of them
Yeah.
are not really what they do not match their website, and you're just
No,
like,
they
I
do
can't
not.
stay here.
No.
False advertising.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. So yeah, totally relatable. That makes so much sense. And I can see that wears on you too, when you're just like, I do not like where I'm at right now in the world
Yeah.
physically. And then with the friendships, yes, it is absolutely heartbreaking. And I think one thing that is hard too with so many different, people, obviously they need to do what's best for their families. Sometimes they find homes, whether they're in the UP or wherever. And then that is a really hard part of it too, because then you're saying goodbye, like not even just with people you're traveling with that you might see again, but then you continuously are like making these friendships that you're not really sure how, it's hard. And then I feel like I've noticed with myself, like holding back then, like after I'm like grieving a friendship, and then
And
not like it has to end. I don't have to be so dramatic. However, it is like hard.
but
It
you want them
changes.
to stay with you. You
Yeah.
want them to stay on the road.
Yeah. So then I think sometimes for me, I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. It's like when you and your boyfriend dumps you in 6th grade and you're like, I'm just not ready to date again. It's like, then I feel like I'm just not ready to put myself out there again. It's like a lot of work to make friends as an adult, like it takes a lot of energy. So that all makes so much sense. I did chuckle when you were saying it was like speed dating, because then it's also funny when you get to the part where you're like, okay, are we going steady now? Right? We're like at
No,
different
yeah.
stages of
Like,
the
are we
relationship.
doing this?
Yes, it is so
Was it
interesting.
you that we were talking about where you get home after like speed or like hanging out? Was it you guys where it's I think we were at dinner.
Yes.
But where it was like, so what did you think?
Yeah.
And then
Fa
he would be like, so what did you think? Like, did
eh,
y'all both vibe? Was everybody vibing? Like, is this gonna be a thing?
yeah, exactly, and there's so many different aspects of it too. Like, obviously, it's like you wanna vibe with, for lack of better words, the mom and the dad, and then, like, are the kids clicking too? So there's just, like, this is so much involved. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that
Okay,
is.
so I am laughing too, because my question on here does say, "How did you know it was time to get off the road?" Which is what you said that you're always asked. So you kinda covered that one, so appreciate that. And you've already shared a little bit too on how travel is looking like for you guys now, because obviously you don't need to move into a house and then just abandon travel, right? It's just a different way. I know you recently went to the Dominican, and then where are you headed this summer?
So this weekend we head to Virginia. My mom is turning 70. It's a surprise. But then this summer for Zoe's 16th, we're going to New York. She knows about it.
To
It's
New
not a
York.
surprise. And then we're also doing he and I are doing like our own camping trip for 4 days while the kids are gone.
Nice.
So we'll camp with the dog and then tent.
It's camping.
Yeah,
There
we're
So,
you go.
prepping it.
Yeah, last year we did the Western UP, and we literally bought. We have backpacking tents, but I didn't want to take backpacking tents to a campground, so we went to Walmart and bought a $100 tent and camped in the Western
It was a
UP.
great time. But so we're doing the
And then this
east.
year we're doing the Eastern UP just for like 3 or 4 nights, and we just camp in a tent in a campground. So that's taking us back to our roots.
Hey, and then
Yes.
then we'll go to
Global for Bourbon and Beyond Festival.
in September.
Nice.
It's a music fest. Dave's gonna be there.
Yeah.
You'll have to say goodbye to him then. No. And so we'll tent. The girls are coming with us. They'll skip school and we'll just listen to music and camp. I think it's 4 days or something, 4 or 5 days.
Well, I love it that you guys are still camping and you weren't just totally like scarred by the
Oh
difficulty.
gosh,
with
no.
No,
Yeah.
if we're like we love camping and like give me like a state park site in the middle of the
Yes.
woods somewhere, in a tent. I will tell you, I have a new appreciation for tent camping now. Tent camping with a mattress for
Oh, can you
Yeah.
edit that out? No. I'm okay sleeping on the ground. Okay, noted. No. He needs good sleeping conditions.
Yeah, you guys are braver than I am. I'm such a light sleeper. I just really can't. The tent thing never really
Oh,
doesn't really go well
boo.
for me. Yeah,
Boo.
it's a struggle. I always
Yeah.
end up in the car. So
Uh,
yeah, which is just
that
awkward.
sucks because you
Yeah.
want to be able to, but
I like wanted to be cool enough to be a tent camper. It just is not who I am. It's
you
hard
know
to give up on
yourself.
that.
You know
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I do have a couple would you rather questions for y'all before we say goodbye. Would you rather deal with the challenges of having only one bathroom or the challenges of having more than one, but then you also have more toilets to scrub? What do you all think?
I could do one. I suck at cleaning bathrooms. So, and he will attest to this. I think I was meant to actually not own a bathroom. But if I have to choose, I'm going to choose one.
We've had we have 2 bathrooms in the house. We had 2 bathrooms in the RV.
You did. Okay.
Somehow, our kids still find their way very often to 1 bathroom. So we could do 1 bathroom.
We can do
It's
one
fine.
bathroom. We got this all day.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. It's frustrating. We only have 1 bathroom in the RV. I actually didn't realize you guys had 2. But I'm always like, gosh, I want 2 bathrooms, blah, 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 blah. But then every time I'm cleaning it, I'm like, but do I want to clean 2 bathrooms?
No, you don't.
Not really. No.
Yeah, let that go. No more
Yeah.
bathroom.
All right. And would you rather be shoveling your 12 feet of snow or have to change a tire on the side of a rig on the side of a highway?
Oh gosh. Okay.
Well, that's easy for Rosellyn.
Why? Because I don't do either one. Oh, I just got thrown under the RV with the pop tire. But okay, on this side of it, gosh, that's so hard. That's so hard.
It's tough because shoveling 12 feet of snow, we have a snow blower, right?
But still,
But you have to do
know.
it multiple times. I don't feel like my life is in danger when I'm shoveling snow, blowing snow, and
Good
I
point.
talk myself into being a cardio workout for the day.
Another good
There's
point.
nothing about changing a tire that makes me want that to be my cardio workout. And I do feel like I've taken my life into my own hands. So I am going to opt for the shoveling snow.
Don and I are basically a pit crew. I won't go into the situation, but I will tell you that there was a situation where we had to be in a Vegas campground by 10 p.m. And at 9:20, he and I are literally pit crewing the crap out of this tire. And we ended up
It was
being
on the
there.
rig, right? It was a tire.
Yeah. But we ended up getting there right on time. So I'm just saying for me, on this side of it, and I think it's just because I am rooted, I'm settled, I love it, but also you cannot extinguish my desire to just go on a drive on an open road and where I'm at right now. And, nostalgic, because we're talking about RVing, I would say RVing. I would say let Don and I pit crew the heck out of that, get into that campground and go see some sights in the morning. That's what I would say on this side of it. Don't you see
That
that?
makes sense. That's fair. Both good answers.
I can see yours too.
All right, Don and Rosellyn, thank you so much for chatting and
Yeah, it was
sharing
so
your.
fun.
Yes, I love hearing more about your inspiring and honestly kind of shocking journey from RV to sticks and bricks. And if y'all are still listening, thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe. It would really mean the world to me. Safe travels, y'all.
Don and Rosellyn rode on through RV window, sky so blue. Teen girls found a house online, Upper Peninsula, hit by. Didn't see the porch, didn't know the road. Just a leap of faith and a heavy load. One little map and a wild-eyed grin. They said, let's go in. Now the trees get tall and the drifts get deep. Every winter's got a way of testing what you keep. Upper Peninsula, take us away. We still go wandering every day. Snow on the steps, boots in the door. We keep on adventuring more and more. Upper Peninsula, sing it out loud. We found our place in a snow-white cloud. We keep on adventuring. We keep on adventuring. Now they shovel paths by the morning light, laughing at the wind when it bites. Teenage dreams turn pine and ice. Whole new map, whole new life. Cross country miles and frozen creeks. Hot soup steam on kitchen cheeks. If the truck can start, they're good to go. Out where the north winds blow. From a no-look by to a brave new home. Every storm just taught them how to roam. Upper Peninsula, take us away. We still go wandering every day. a snow white cloud.
Keep on adventuring. Keep on adventuring.
Maybe the town was a mystery then. Maybe the house creaked now and again. But Don says, baby, we're fine right here. Rosellyn laughs and cheers. The girls say, look, let's head downstate. Then turn the wheel and change the fate. One more